Hello everyone, my name's Hollis Bailey. I'm the founder of the Surrender to Remember portal, and welcome to April 2021, our fourth month of this community. So I just wanted to make this quick video to welcome you to the April module, the April theme, and tell you a little bit about where we've been since January and where we're headed, and also some practical ways to move through the materials to get the most out of your membership this month. So in January, really January and February were about getting in our bodies. So if you want to go back to the past content and check out the workshops or the meditations or the breath work, even the channeling and the astrology, even though it was then, the energy is still really powerful in those videos. So feel free to check any of the past content out. But basically we did the theme of coming home to your body in January, experiencing joy, pleasure, freedom, and ecstasy in February. And then in March, last month, we got into some of the emotional processing techniques and tools that I teach my clients that are really powerful to begin claiming responsibility for the way we react in the world and taking back our power in terms of just becoming more aware of our emotions and how to allow those to move and really honor the process in a non-judgmental way. So there's two really powerful somatic experiencing exercises in that workshop. And then again, you can check out all of the additional content that supported that theme. So here we are in April. This month is titled Radical Self-Responsibility. We're going to be looking at triggers this month, and I'm going to be teaching you some really powerful tools to learn to get to the root of what is at self-sabotaging behaviors. We all have those or have had them in the past. So I'm going to teach you a really powerful practice to work through this month on your own time to get to the bottom of what is at those self-sabotaging behaviors. It's never about that you don't have the willpower to, stop eating the sugar. It's always about something emotional. And this could be, this comes in many forms, right? I even had a self-sabotaging behavior of over-exercising for a long time, like spending 6 hours surfing, and that was a distractive mechanism from what was really at the root of my pain, which was an emotional root, right? An emotional, root point or whatever. So I'm going to teach you some of these practices. It's going to be up to you to actually practice them and do the work. The live workshop happens on the first Monday of the month, so come to that live if you can. Otherwise, the replay will be up. There's a Facebook group that all members are a part of where you can start to post questions, when you want to post stories that come up, when you want some extra support around, working through your triggers. It's inevitable that you're going to be faced with triggers. We all are. We all have pretty much our entire day laid out in front of us as an opportunity to grow and learn. So this can be a more pleasant experience, like getting a compliment from someone, or it can be a triggering experience, like being triggered into, anger or resentment or grief or sadness. So just look at this month, and this is the mindset piece that you're gonna learn in the workshop. Look at this month as an opportunity to start looking at this as a framework, as your life as a framework for growth. I'm of the belief system that your soul chose the experiences that you were going to have, now not the specific ones, but the general types of lessons that you would be conditioned to have and that you would experience so that your soul could learn a certain lesson on this ascension path, on this spiritual evolution path. So really, when we can start to look at these experiences, and often they're very uncomfortable, when we're triggered or when we experience hard things in life, they're very uncomfortable. But if you can begin to look and reframe your mindset to looking at pain and suffering as a gift, that's when things really start to shift. So here's how this program works. I give you a workshop on the theme, and it's your responsibility to go out and do the action afterwards. And then I give you all kinds of tools as a way to feel supported in working through the theme of the month. So we have a restorative yoga class. This month, we're gonna have 2 meditations as integrative practices. I'm not going to do a breathwork practice because one of the meditations has some breathing techniques in it. So this week we have a restorative yoga class that's about 30 minutes as a great way to integrate. You can also just do it in the morning as a good way to start your day. You can do it as an evening as a good way to close out your day. So there's always that. We have Jessica, who is our community channel and medium, who gives a live workshop the second Monday of every month. I believe it's on the 12th this month. So if you can attend the live, you can always ask her questions, personal questions, and she channels for the collective. I give a community collective oracle reading, oracle forecast. So just giving you an overall tone of what our collective, our energy guides, our group energy as a whole needs as support before we go into the month. So that's always good to watch in the beginning of the month to kind of get an idea of what energies are present and what you may be presented with. And some of this is going to be familiar to you anyway because you're here and I'm doing the reading on you. So take a look at the oracle reading in the beginning of the month, and you can always turn back to it too if something stuck out to you, just as an added resource for support to encourage you to continue going with your process. We have astrology reports on the new moon and the full moon by our incredible intuitive astrologer, Andrea Walker. She gives about a 30-minute report that includes all of the energy of the planets and where they are positioned and what to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. And she also does some card pulls, and she gives us some stones and crystals to work with as added support. So it's really good if you're into that added nature support and energy support. So tune into that. Then we have a group coaching call, which is essentially a follow-up to the workshop and all of the work you do through the month. And that's on the third Monday of the month. So our 3 live events are on the first 3 Mondays of the month: the workshop, Jessica's live channeling, and then the group coaching call. Andrea gives her new moon and full moon forecast the Wednesday before the moon. And then what else do we have? What am I missing? Have the meditations. And then at the end of the month, we have a live ceremony. So last month, we did our first cacao ceremony. I am a huge fan of medicines, whether those are herbs and plants, all the way up to the psychedelics. So this month, we're actually going to invite cacao and psilocybin. This is no requirement to consume these substances, but if you are interested, it might be something to think about in terms of either reaching out to me and letting me know that you need help in getting the cacao or the psilocybin. And we can figure that out before the end of the month. I think the full moon is on the 27th, so we have a full month. But that's going to be what the full moon ceremony is going to be kind of based around, or we're going to be inviting those medicines in. We're not going to be talking about cacao and psilocybin necessarily, other than to communicate the downloads that I get from those plants leading up to the ceremony, because I communicate with plants. But that's going to be the layout of the month. So it's really beautiful if you can jump in the beginning of the month, come to that live workshop, or watch it at least within the first week of the month. Get the exercises down, and then, like I said, practicing as many of the practices as you can, tuning into the Facebook group, asking questions there, getting connected to the community. The deeper you go in your process, the more you're gonna get out of it. This may be brand new tools to you if you're not used to sitting with yourself and allowing your body to feel emotions. This could be really uncomfortable in the beginning, and that's what I'm here for. I believe that the world is moving in this direction. I mean, none of us are immune to the fact that the world has been triggered on many levels. And whether it's racism, whether it's violence, whether it's political unrest, whether it's wars, whether it's domestic violence, all of this, when we don't get wrapped up in the story, you guys, and I'm not saying it's not valid to be triggered by some of the things that are going on, but when we take the story out of it and we look at what the root cause of all of this unrest is, it's suppressed emotions. And that's just the truth. I've been through it all. I've been through trauma. I've been through abuse, some physical, mostly mental, and mostly psychological. And, luckily I haven't haven't been through some of the more traumatic experiences, but in the root of it, it's all the same. So I'm teaching you these emotional processing tools as a way to start your own journey of taking back your power, claiming every experience that you've ever had, learning to love it. We are all victims and we are all victimizers. That's just the truth. We've all been a perpetrator and we've all been a victim. So getting a look at our entire story of our lives and seeing how we've reacted, and then taking that and saying, okay, I'm gonna love this all just for a second. I'm not gonna try and push any of this away. I'm gonna claim this. I'm gonna learn to love it all. Shame, regret, fear, anger, rage, disappointment, sadness, grief. I'm gonna learn how to look at that and embrace it. And when you do that and when you let yourself surrender to all of that pain, there's always transformation on the other side of that. So I'm sending us through March and April are the most challenging months that we're going to have this year. It doesn't say that life gets easy after this. It's just if this is the first time you've really sunk in and surrendered to the emotional processing, it can be a little bit challenging and different because we're not used to it. We're used to distracting. We're used to running away. We're used to using all kinds of vices to not feel. But when we can learn to just surrender to the moment and find the absolute infinite power and potential of the energy of those feelings, it's truly, truly a magical experience. Next month, just to give you a little bit of an idea of where we're headed into learning how to work with the energies in terms of law of attraction and quantum healing. And so that's when we become more of fun co-creators of our life. Now, it's really important to have a foundation to work with our triggers and to be able to hold space for ourselves in the emotions, in the triggers. The triggers never stop, the emotions never stop. So it's good to become aware and get a little bit of a handle on the emotional mastery. Learn how to invite our inner child in, learn how to, like I said, embrace everything, love everything. And when we can start to touch on that, then we can really jump to the next level of life, which is co-creation, which is magical manifestation, which is synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity, and life gets really, really fun from there on out. So I'm here to support you all along the way. You have an awesome community in the Facebook group. Welcome to those of you that are new. I'm so happy to be here with you for the ones who have been here since the beginning of the year. Let's get this thing going, give it your all this month, and I will see you inside the portal and the Facebook group.